Let me welcome you to my channel. Before we begin the video, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and like this post. On Friday's episode of SmackDown, Naomi came clean about being the unknown assailant who had attacked Jade Cargill. In November, she sent a message to the Storm on X, making fun of her attack on Cargill, who was discovered unconscious in the parking lot during an episode of the Blue brand last year. The attack put her on the sidelines for a few months and caused her to miss the 2024 Women's War Games match and the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match. Finally, at the Elimination Chamber Toronto Premium Live event, the 32-year-old attacked her former ally. Naomi, who had previously confessed to Bianca Belair that she was the mastermind behind the attack on X, was once again the victim of a brutal beating on SmackDown. In response to Jade's post on X, in which she referred to herself as that B***, the 37-year-old superstar referred to Naomi as a bit *hat. On the Natum Wrestling podcast, Sam Roberts stated his belief that Jade Cargill would turn heel at some point and that it wouldn't be acceptable for Bianca Belair to do the same. The formal announcement of Cargill versus Naomi has not yet been made, but Robert hinted that Cargill would subtly defeat Naomi in order to lay the stage for a possible heel turn at Storm. Meanwhile, Bianca Belair is scheduled to compete for the WWE Women's World title at WrestleMania 41. It had been weeks of rumors, but no one could have guessed who was behind the brutal attacks on Jade Cargill. A shadowy figure had been sending cryptic messages, and every time Cargill recovered from one attack, she was attacked again. Now the truth had emerged, and the wrestling world was abuzz with excitement. The arena was filled with thousands of enthusiastic fans, and the energy was electric. As the lights went down and Jade Cargill's signature entrance song resounded throughout the stadium, the crowd went wild with shouts. Jade approached the ring with an air of self-assurance, her gaze fixed on the ramp, as if she were prepared to face any challenge that came her way. Waited for with weeks of uncertainty behind her, she had finally entered the ring and was prepared to give an interview, all the while attempting to make sense of what had transpired. However, as the microphone was seized by Jade, the stadium was rocked by an unsettling, unexpected sound as the lights dimmed and then went out, leaving the supporters on the edge of their seats, confused. Then, in an instant, the lights came back on, and the audience let out a gasp. Titantron displayed a modern, high-definition image of Naomi's face. Standing in a dimly lit room, her expression was one of intense cold calculation. With a subtle smirk on her lips, she stared into the camera. In a voice filled with purpose and resolve, Naomi delivered 4 powerful words that would shock the wrestling world. "I am your nightmare." The response came right away. Supporters gasped in shock. As Jade's hands clenched around the microphone, her eyes widened. The revelation was a huge shock. For weeks, Jade had wondered who could have been behind the vicious attacks, and now she knew the answer. Naomi, the long-silent former champion of the powerhouse, had been revealed in the most terrifying way imaginable. Jade stood there, frozen, as Naomi's words lingered in the air like a heavy fog. Ailey, the woman who had once been her friend, had turned on her with a vengeance. The audience was in frenzy. Naomi was making it plain that she wasn't only confronting Jade Cargill. Rather, she was formally declaring war. The former champion had long been disregarded and underappreciated, but now she was prepared to reclaim what she felt was rightly hers. Whispers of disbelief escaped the fans as they attempted to grasp the gravity of the situation. Naomi had always been formidable, but this was a whole other ballgame. It wasn't about accumulating championships or demonstrating her dominance. Value she has this hit close to home beyond the physical assault. Naomi was targeting Jade's legacy, identity, and everything that made her Jade Carroll. Naomi's message was brutal, and her intentions were very clear. She would not rest until Jade was destroyed. A shift in Naomi's personality. The world had witnessed Naomi's transformation over the years, from her time in WWE to her transition to a more positive and energetic persona. However, that image has now been shattered. Naomi fans had known an energetic and charismatic woman who was always smiling. But now they saw a woman who had been hardened by betrayal, frustration, and a desire for something greater. Naomi had observed Jade's rise to fame, and she had seen Jade take her place at the top of the women's division. Despite Naomi's long history of competitive success, she has recently been overshadowed by younger, less established players. Under the stars, her accomplishments went unrecognized, her sacrifices disregarded, and now, because to Jade's incredible ascent to power, Naomi, who had been beloved by fans and a respected figure in the locker room, felt that she was slipping into oblivion as of late. And this was evident in the media coverage of Jade's achievements. Jade Cargill's rise to prominence in charisma had made her the public face of Al's gender gap. But Naomi was not about to sit on her hands while animosity festered. Months of building tension, Naomi finally decided in that dark moment that she would not allow Jade to steal her thunder or even dim her light. Naomi had given Jade 4 words as a first step in recovering her position at the top of the nightmare she had become. However, in her opinion, those words were a proclamation to the whole Edo locker room, proclaiming that Naomi was back and prepared to take charge. In the midst of the palpable anxiety, Jade stood still in the center of the ring, her grip on the microphone tight. The stadium exploded in a chorus of surprise and uncertainty in reaction to the scream. With her thoughts and pulse racing, Jade took a deep breath and tried to make sense of what had just transpired. She had been caught unawares for weeks, and now her attacker's identity was crystal evident. The only question was, why? Her voice was a whirlwind of anger and shock as she shouted into the microphone, and the words "nail me" dripping with venom came out of her mouth. "You want to be my nightmare. You're about to learn what happens when you try to destroy me." The crowd stood up and chanted Jade's name, rallying behind the champion who had just taken a devastating blow. However, Jade showed no signs of backing down. She had transformed from victim to fighter, and Naomi had kindled an inner fire that would be difficult to put out. Her eyes gleamed with intensity as she continued, her voice becoming stronger with each word. "I fought through every challenge, every opponent, and I've come out on top." Her face hardened. Jade narrowed her eyes. "You messed up, Naomi. Something you roused in me can't be stifled. I will make you regret crossing me. War is here, and I always come out on top." The atmosphere in the arena was electric as Jade let go of the mic and locked eyes with Titantron. It was evident that there would be no turning back. The battle between Naomi and Jade was about to reach new heights. The weeks that followed in August were a whirlwind of chaos as the two women continued to clash, both in and out of the ring. Naomi had fully embraced her darker side. Once an amiable competitor, he suddenly unleashed a new level of ferocity and intensity, shocking several of the ladies.